Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? Welcome back, an old man in the land of grills. And we are in the land of grills because there's a lot of them here. We've got the Sloan Sear kettle. And you're saying, whoa, what's going on? There's something going on there, Tom. You got hoses, you got wires. What's going on there? Well, folks, we got a little gloomy day here. Upper 30s, light mist. It was foggy here about an hour ago, but that's kind of breaking up. But I want to use the new cast iron dripping griddle, and I want to do a chuck roast on that dripping griddle where I'm actually going to sear it first, both sides, then put it in direct and cook it hot and fast. And on a gloomy day like today, the best thing to use is a thermostatically controlled blower, which we've got here. It's an Inkbird product that we've got hooked up to the S&S grill. And I've got a couple modifications I've done to keep it out of the rain by mounting it underneath with some magnets. I'll tell you what, I'll leave the links down below to the Inkbird and to the Inkbird modifications if you're interested in something like this. Now, with the Sloan Sear kettle, it hooks up perfectly to the old smoke hole down there. So I'll tell you what, let's open it up, give you a closer look at that, and then we'll go take a look at the chuck roast while we get this fired up. All right, let's take a look at setup. We've got the Sloan Sear right there. I will put some water in there. B&B charcoal, folks, I honestly believe it's the best lump. If you can find B&B, take a look, get it. Once you have it, you'll never go back to anything else. Got some hickory buried in there. I got 2 starters in there. I'm gonna get this going real good. To start things up, I'm gonna leave the vent open. You can see right there, that's where it goes through the smoke hole. And there's the tube, and I took that off just so I could show you the Inkbird setup here. Let me get you on the tripod so you can see it a little bit better. So this whole thing is a unit. The aluminum you see there, I bent that up. I did that myself, a piece of scrap diamond plate aluminum, and I just have it attached there. You can see that's where the air is drawn in, and then you've got some probes here. You've got one which is going to be a temperature probe. This is actually PID, and there will be a temperature probe that'll sit on the grate, and then another probe that goes in your meat, and that's the power cord. And then the theory I wanted to do here is to keep it out of the wind, the rain, and the snow, is to put a bunch of magnets up there, and then it just mounts underneath like that. Super simple, out of the way, so the rain or the snow don't get to it, and then it'll control your temp. You can set your temp on there, and it's also Wi-Fi. Hooks up to Wi-Fi so you can monitor it. And I was able to actually figure it out. So if I can do it, folks, you can do it too. Okay, now let's. I tell you, we're gonna get this fired up. We're gonna go take a look at that chuck roast, and then you're gonna see the whole thing in action throughout this entire video. So be patient, folks. Keep on watching. All right, folks, so there's the new cast iron drip griddle. This thing is 10 pounds, really, really nice. And there's one of the original dripping griddles. That's a stainless steel one. And they're the same size. And it's just, I tell you what, cast iron is just where I'm so into cast iron these days. It does a phenomenal job. Like I said, what I want to do here is sear them first, both sides, and then put it over indirect and just let it cook hot and fast and take it over. I like to take chuck roast, 215-ish. I know a lot of people say 205, but it seems like for me, I get it to pull better when it's that 215-ish type range. So meaning that you would pull at maybe 210, 211, and it'll go all by itself. So let's take a look at the chuck roast. There's a nice 3-pounder right there. And I prepped this last night, and all I did was, if you haven't watched my channel, you know how much I love this Ang stir fry oil. It's a cottonseed garlic infused oil, boy, it's really good. And then I'll tell you what, veterans owned business right here, Burn Pit Barbecue. This is their ground pounder. This is their SPG, salt, pepper, and garlic. And what I like about it, you can see there's flakes in there. They actually use salt flakes in there. And oh man, I'll tell you what, it is just so good. I'll leave the link down below, www.burnpitbarbecue. But like I said, veteran owned business, folks. Go to their website, purchase some of their stuff. They're good people. Let's get around the grill. All right, so I just put the cast iron in there. I've got it over the Sloan Sear. And then I just put the lid back on, and you can see I put the tip of the temp probe on the cast iron. You can see it's already at 406, internal on the grill, and that's back on the cool side. That's, like I said, I just took the cover off, so it was close to 300, but now it's climbing real quick back up to 300 and more. That blower is running, and I've got the blower set at 450. So and you can see that right there. That's its set temp. So that's what it's trying to get in the total grill. But you can see I've got that set at 500. That's going to hit 500 real soon. So I'm going to pull that probe off there, and we're just about ready to sear, and that did not take long. So I'm probably taking my thermal out there. I'm going to take you out there too. We'll check it with the thermal and give you a look-see. All right, folks. The great thing about using this thermostatically controlled blower is that it really helps get it hot, especially on a day like today. And right now the lid is reaching 350, and I just started this charcoal literally just 20 minutes ago. So I have it already. The lid is saying 350. The Inkbird down at grade level is saying 275. And let's see what the thermal says on the cast iron. And that's only been on there for maybe 5 minutes. So let's see there. Now you're wondering if I seasoned this. I did pre-season a little bit. You can see some. Look at that. Over 600, 650. So we're ready to sear here. I'm going to put a little more oil in there. Like I said, I did do some pre-seasoning, and we'll get the searing. All right. Sprayed a little bit more canola oil on there. And we've got our chuck roast here. And we're just gonna put on there, give it a sear for a minute or two, and then probably spin it. It's probably a little bit hotter toward the back there. But cover back on, go a minute or two, and then we'll give her a flip and we'll give you a look. All right, minute and a half. Searing up real nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's nice. So we're gonna go probably 2 minutes with this. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip things on. I'm just gonna put my high heat gloves. You're saying why not flip the whole grate around? I want to get this reconfigured so I have it set so that I can add charcoal. So probably gonna take it off for a second, get the grates where I want it, get the temp probes where I want it, and then we're gonna go into the hot and fast indirect. So give you a look-see once it's set up, because you've seen that it's seared. It sears nicely. All right, folks, so I've made some adjustments here. Obviously, we're done searing, so we set the grill temp down to 300. You can see we're at 312 right now. It's cooling itself down. I've got the the beef set at 210. You can see we're at 112. It says it's well done. I haven't figured this whole app out yet. And in fact, folks, if we're talking about thermostatically controlled blowers, I had heard a rumor that S&S Grills is going to be coming out with their own, but I haven't heard anything else other than that. But you can see the setup there. You can see we're on the cool side now. We did put some water in the water trough, and the water is boiling. Here I took that off, and the PID controllers kicked back on that blower. So I'm gonna get this back covered, and we're just gonna let it do its thing, and probably give you a look-see. Probably in a 40. Well, we'll see how long it takes to get to about maybe internal of maybe 160, 170. We'll give you a look see then. All right, folks. We're not even an hour since we put since we've turned it from the sear, and we're already at 167 internal. You can see we're holding 308. Our lid temp concurs. It's a little over 300, and we're gonna just take a quick look here. I have added some potatoes here, so take a look at that. Oh man, I'll tell you what, looking mighty nice. And you see on the other side, I did put a couple more charcoals because I just didn't know how much more this would take. So, and you can hear the fan kick in again. That's that PID on that Inkbird. Tell you what, that thing's doing a great job on a gloomy, cloudy, foggy, cool day, and it's doing a great job at 300 degrees. Kind of give me another look-see here before we pull it off, and give you the time then, and then we're going to wrap it and let it sit for an hour before we pull it. All right, folks, not quite 2 hours yet. We're at 207, so it's in the name hot and fast. And I did bump the temp up to 325. The nice thing about that with this thermostatically controlled, oh man, look at that blower there. You can do that, and I added all that charcoal for nothing. Holy smokes! But let's see what we got here. If you can see that, I'm saying 199 there. $187 there. So our temporal, well, we're 212 there. I mean, we want to do this so it's probe. It's not the probe tender there. It's kind of probe tender right here. And this is just 201. We're definitely probe tender on this side. So probably gonna let it go just a little bit while longer. I can actually start pulling all this stuff off. And these taters. Who wants to take a look at a tater? Oh man, golden brown, and those are done. Oh, and hot too. All right, folks. Sorry about that. We're just about done. I'll take a couple more degrees, and then I'll put it in a tray, wrap it, let it sit, give you a look, see when we pull it. All right, there's the taters. Oh man, I'll tell you what, they turned out great. Let's see how chuck roast did. Okay, it's pulling. It's definitely pulling. This area right here, yeah. So that area could have gone a little bit longer, as you can see. That's not pulling. That's not pulling as nice. But let's take a look at the rest of it here. Let's just take a little taste test here. This is our first time, folks. Chuck roast has always been my nemesis. Look at that. Nice little smoke ring there on the S&S grill. Oh man, that one looks good. Take a bite. Oh yeah. 2 hours. It's difficult to do sometimes when we got it this thick on this side, not thin right there. Should have went a little bit longer. That side's good. That side, we'll cut up and make sandwiches out of it. Definitely edible. Folks, cast iron seared, hot and fast on the S&S grills using the cast iron dripping griddle. If you ever thought you'd be doing this on that, using a thermostatically controlled blower too. I tell you what, that made all the difference today. With it being really foggy and cold and just damp outside, it really supercharged that S&S. Folks, hope you enjoyed this. Tom Horseman at YouTube. Thumbs up, leave a comment. I'll leave links down below to that Ingbird thing and to the Burn Pit Barbecue stuff that I like using. And of course, snsgrills.com. Check them out always. And take care, folks.